Jumping to your other team in on the hardwood floor in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. They're actually pretty damn great. Um, Championship reigning champs right now.
Yeah.
They are 26-10, second in the Eastern Conference. Today they lost to the OKC Thunder on 105-92. Just to stick on that before we go on anything else, what you think about that game overall?
I mean, that second half that the Thunder put together defensively, and then obviously we just did the whole chuck up three thing, but it's only scored 26 points, whatever it is, 27 points, and that whole entire second half is
Yep,
our
yep.
lowest,
hmm
ridiculously by far for the past 5-10 years.
15 in the third, and 12 in the fourth.
Yeah, yeah, unnecessary. Yeah, 27 points, right? But that's kind of it. Just is what it is with Celtics. Like that's what you're going to get. Missoula wants to shoot the three. He wants to shoot more threes than anybody. He's in love with that process. That kind of lose to the Warriors, become the Warriors kind of thing in the finals. So and then it paid off, right? So we end up winning a title doing it. So he's never going to back down from that. We're going to have games that look like this, or teams like OKC, teams like your Miami Heat in the past have been able to pressure us on the 3-point line, and we don't. We just take the bait. We don't attack the basket. Jalen
Yeah,
Brown might 1-2 step, but then take a mid ranger. He's not going all the way to the lane. Jason Tatum becomes too ISO dependent, settling for bad threes. Then it becomes so obvious. It's like the run on first down, run on second down. Now you have to pass on third and
yeah,
long. It becomes so predictable when he wants to go to the basket at that point. So I'm not going to make too much out of today's loss, but I do think this whole month where we struggled, we're kind of almost near a 500 team in the past 12 games or so, but I don't think that's too much of it. Everybody's kind of missed time. Tatum's missed a couple games. Brown missed a couple games. Porzingis, obviously. Even guys like Drew Holiday, Derek White, taking some time off. But I'm okay with what we got going on. I think overall, OKC is a real threat. I think they will probably go to the finals against us. This could be a
mhm,
finals preview. But I do worry about teams like Cleveland and New York because of their length on the perimeter. And I think if we don't learn while we're down to score in other ways, other than simply just throwing the ball to Porzingis and hope he can, get a switch onto a smaller guy, then it's going to get tough. We could end up being like, remember, Milwaukee won the title, and we thought that could have been not dynasty mode, but they were on the rise, and then they went
yeah.
away. Right? Denver won the title, and we thought, man, no one's going to stop them next year, and then they weren't champs again. So we could easily be one of those teams if we don't make the adjustment. And I just don't think we're suited to make that adjustment because we've done so well playing the way we're playing. So today, not so much problem, but long term, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you guys are the definition of you live and die by the three. I think you
Oh,
guys
for sure.
are you going to be
Yeah.
like that for a little while to come. Again, third quarter 15 points, fourth quarter 12 points, while OKC had 21 in the third and 29 in the fourth. And with their, in my opinion, MVP that's playing right now, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 33 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. It's a
Yeah.
lot in an NBA game.
Yeah.
He had 3 for 6 in 3 pointers, and then from the field, he shot 11 for 23. So not super efficient, but he got to the line and he got 8 for 8 free throws. So, for him,
Yeah.
he's showing out right now and against a well star-studded Celtics team that's really, important to show out there on the court, especially holding you guys to 92 points while they score 105. That's when you could tell that they came out in the second half. They used the home court advantage, the noise of the crowd, 100%. The energy of the crowd just gave them that effort to stop you guys from shooting so much because you guys went 9 for 46 in 3 pointers. So it's like, if you hit at least like four more, you guys are in it in the game. That's like a 105, 103 game. So
Yeah.
that tenacity on defense for sure probably hold you guys back a little bit. But you know, Drew Holiday, he went 1 for 6, 0 for 4 in threes, and he only had 2 points in the game. Yeah, he had 8 rebounds and 6 assists, but if you're trying to win against a team like you mentioned that you guys might see in the NBA finals, which I agree, I think you guys will, you can't be having games like this where you're I would say third star, fourth star maybe is only scoring 2 points.
No. Yeah, I agree, man. And it's rough because, like you said, the biggest thing out of that you take from it is they went into halftime and they made the adjustments. Like we had the 10-point lead going into their home,
Mhm.
at halftime. And we just don't do that kind of thing. I haven't seen us make an adjustment against any team that's a real threat in the past year or so. Like we've made nice little adjustments in games against Atlanta and against Detroit and Orlando and stuff like that. But when it comes to the top dogs that you're really going to face in the playoffs and get challenged 5, 6, 7 games, it's we're just going to keep going as we're doing. And
Mhm.
it's worked out because we have enough shooters to do that. Even guys like Al Horford are hitting threes, and it's one pass. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. We're still shooting up these same exact threes. First half, second half, doesn't matter what's going on. And like you said, three or four threes go in, it changes the whole perspective. And I think that's kind of the Boston way now is, well, three or more threes go in, we're right in that game. So just
Yeah.
stick to it. And it's like I said, live and die by the three. And we do a decent enough job to guard the perimeter with our length because between Tatum, obviously Derek White and Jalen Brown, accompanied with Horford, who moves pretty well as a big laterally, and so does Porzingis, and then Drew Holiday being a great defensive guard. We have
Yeah.
enough talent to get away with bad habits, and it's just I don't want that to catch up to us. So I'm a little worrisome against a team like the Knicks in the playoffs, against Cleveland, who just new coaching has them firing on all cylinders. And then, like you mentioned, I know you're only going to get one team from the West, but OKC is probably the last one I want to see because their defensive perimeter is great.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Your top two players right now, Jason Tatum averaging 28.5 points per game, 5.6 assists per game, 9.5 rebounds per game, while shooting 46.7% from the field and 36.9% from three. So Jason Tatum is having a pretty good
Yeah.
year, in all regards. I
Yeah.
think he's probably top five in MVP voting right now. Your second best player, Jalen Brown, is averaging 24.4 points per game, 4.6 assists per game, 6 rebounds per game while shooting 46% from the field and 33.2% from three. So he's actually having a good year as well. So your top two players, they're doing what they have to do for your team right now. And then, with all that being said, with the Eastern Conference and how is it looking right now, do you believe that they can go to the finals once again? And do you think if they face OKC Thunder, we'll say, because it's the top team right now in the West, do you believe that they will go back to back?
Yes. Mainly because of experience for the Thunder, and I don't know what I'm going to get from Cleveland. Right. So Cleveland has gone into what is it, the Knicks series and the Magic series last year. And it's almost like Indiana, where at one point in the season, they're like previous years, they've looked like a team that's just like you don't have an answer for. Halliburton shooting threes, Miles Turner shooting threes. They're moving the ball well. Guys coming off the bench as backup point guard, moving the ball around well. They were just very tricky. Enough defenders, enough length, enough mystery to them. I think Cleveland, when it's really important, it's a big game, big moments. They magically just get figured out by teams. Like the Knicks were able to figure them out pretty simply. Orlando, I mean, they don't have enough, too youthful and not enough shooters at the time to really give them a real challenge, but kind of even then. And I'm not saying Orlando's a pushover or the Knicks are a pushover, but um, Cleveland just kind of, you know, Jekyll Hyde is sometimes. It's 50-50 on what you're going to get. I think this year with Atkinson is coaching, they're way more consistent. Mobley's getting put in positions that are way faster and better for him to succeed. But I don't know if that's going to be the case come playoff time. They've looked like this other times, but I do think that they're a step better than they were. They're the biggest threat for us because they already kind of have always given us a problem, especially Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks, they're balanced now with Bridges starting to fill in better. If they go in with the healthy Bridges and OG, um, not to say that obviously Brunson and Cat are the key guys, but those two guys there, if they come in healthy into the playoffs, put them on Brown and Tatum, I think that's enough to kind of pesky us up and ruin us a little bit to the point where, yeah, I trust the Brunson defensively with Drew Holiday, but it can be a shootout, and we don't know what we're going to get all the time out of shootout. So
Mhm.
I think those are the two biggest threats in the East, but I do think that we're more experienced and we can take them out. Whereas out West, OKC, kind of like the Minnesota thing, where Minnesota upsets with Denver or whatever, and then they just kind of fold to experience the very next round. So I don't know if OKC is primed for a title run this year, but I do think that if they don't get it this year, then next year will be very dangerous. But everything says that OKC and Cleveland look the part right now. I'll just take our experience over them, even if we're not as, you know, flexible in the coaching.
Yeah, I think the coaching, the that ability, and later on will probably get worked out. The whole adjusting and everything, when it comes to playoff time, I think he'll find ways, like how you're mentioning before. We got to find other ways to score, and it's not the three ball. I think that will happen. The good thing is that you guys have a lot of chemistry together. You brought a lot of players from that championship win last year. Signed Derek White. You still kept
Yeah,
Drew Holiday. Christoph Porzingis is now healthy. Obviously, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown are there, and your bench is, they're putting in a little bit of work too, and it's remained the same bench as well. So I think that
yeah,
experience part for sure is going to help you guys out. I think that you guys will win the Eastern Conference again. If Cleveland does give you guys a hardship, I would say it will probably go to 7. It just with Cleveland, it depends on what players are going to give them the consistency day in and day out, right? So I think Donovan Mitchell is going to give them that consistency for sure. I think Jared Allen will give the consistency. We're trying to
yeah,
get multiple rebounds per game, so try to get 10 plus rebounds per game. I don't know if you'll be able to score 10 points every night, but it'll be good for them if you can 10 to 15. Darius Garland is another one that I'm kind of iffy on. Yes, he's a great player. I don't
yeah,
disregard that, but his consistency does show at times, and especially in the playoffs. He'll go 2 games where he's putting up 20 to 25 points, and then he'll go another game where he'll only put up 10 to 12
yeah.
points. And you,
He's
you
their
can't win
Jalen
like
Brown. You know.
yeah,
Mm, yeah,
type stuff. And you can't win like that, and especially against a team like Boston where you live and die by the 3, and most of the times they're living by the 3. They ain't dying.
yeah,
So if they're putting that many points, you gotta be scoring at will with them. But I think you guys make it back to the finals. I think you guys do play OKC, and I think you guys will go back to back, even though it's hard for me as a Heat fan to say that. But I think you guys will go back to back because of the inexperience of what you're talking about with OKC. Yes, they're a great team, young, talented. They hustle, they score at will, they can defend with the best of them, but they don't know how to win. And we saw that against the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA in-season tournament championship where they got blown out. They got blown out
yeah,
that second half because the
yeah.
championship pedigree just took control for the Milwaukee Bucks and not for the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, OKC doesn't always have the shooters to compete against a team that can do what they do at times. And then, a little asterisk with Chet Holmgren kind of being out and all that. I wonder what that impact will be. But I fully agree. Exactly what you're saying. That Buck situation, we've kind of had that talk before, and that was something that, like, you know, kind of, I won't say exposed them, but definitely made me hesitant to just put them right at the top.
Exactly.